I hope you're paying attention because we are live and you didn't know this was coming, but that's kind of how I roll. I don't mind telling you that I'm always looking for ways to add more value to you guys. And my one of the people who I will say like legitimately new, but a friend, or at least somebody I respect tremendously, Hector Gonzales, has agreed to come in here and jam with me for your guys' benefit on sales, conversion, what a fulfillment. I don't remember what else we talked about.
Generally the sales process
sales process. Yeah. I've had a revelation recently. So you guys who don't know, Hector is in the Wolf Pack, but he's one of those few people that's in there that's like not a beginner. Hector is not just starting out, but he's in there, and it's really cool. But where was I going with that? I drew a blank on it. Anyway, here's the thing. Andrea's watching. Hey, Andrea, what's up? Good to see you. You have some really, really tight process. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. One of the things that I've really realized recently, and this is like, it's going to sound so obvious, but it's so important. You know, I'm taking all of these people through module after module to get their brand on point, to get their position and their story on point and their systems on point. And here's what occurred to me, bro. Or I should say, it's like I saw it at a different level. Like if you have a problem putting offers out there, you're doomed. You're dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And how many, what was it, like good people do you see who they fall short right there at the 1 yard line?
Yep. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
For me, I'm constantly always like, we did a paid workshop. That workshop did really well.
Yeah.
It's like we're constantly always doing new offers, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like the kind of guru just post free content and never ask kind of thing, which I get that. It's like you want to give free content and free value away, especially because that's a brand equity builder. It builds your brand. It shows that you're a credible expert. If you're fronting content really valuable, then people are going to want to actually pay for it. And so I get that aspect, but it's crazy that people are stuck in that never make an offer, don't sound salesy. I'm like, sure, don't sound salesy, but like in your customer's best interest to get them to invest in you. And that's, again, I mean, you know me, I'm all about the membership cross transactions, like having that recurring income, but whatever it is, whether it's high ticket, it's like having a continual vehicle and system that actually brings continual cash flow. I always like to say, I say this, I'm doing kind of like a little mini course on this, is in order to have a solid business, you need a market, a mission, a market, a message, a mechanism, and a method.
Nice.
Those are really, at the end of the day, like the 5 core things. And a lot of the times people miss one of the 5. They usually don't have they don't have a core market, they don't have a core message. And in many ways on the offer side, making offers, they don't have a core vehicle that they're continuously like, my vehicle is free trainings and free workshops or paid workshops usually generates our clientele, like for our subscription or for our high ticket offers. It's usually how it is. And, you know, a lot of people don't have predictability because they don't have the systemization that's required in order to have predictability within. That's what you teach, organic marketing, a lot of the organic marketing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, in order to get that, everyone's like, oh, well, paid ads gets you predictability. I'm kind of going on a rabbit trail a little bit, but it's because that's how my brain works. But it's like, really, predictability isn't based upon paid ads or non-paid ads, paid ads, organic or this. It's more so, do you have a method and a system in place that when you constantly apply that system and do that system, it works. Whether that's from a paid advertising standpoint or whether that's from organic, if it's a system and a vehicle that you apply that works, then you have something that's predictable.
Yeah. I think that predictability is one of those words that there are a lot of words in the marketing sphere that we don't understand the real meaning of them.
Yep.
Right. So first of all, let's talk about ads for just a second, because I use them now and I am very happy. And in fact, it was
congratulations for hitting that 6K mark in your subscription. I mean, literally you're 30 to 60 days away from a 20 grand subscription.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And the goal by the end of 2021, I want 1,000 people in there, man. I want that to be like my almost 7 figures. But here's the thing you guys need to know. And this applies to not just me growing this to hopefully 7 figures just in recurring. You got to put the work in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and the same thing goes for sales, and the same thing goes for any when we talk about predictability, guys, here's what to understand. People say predictability when they mean a different thing. If they're saying, oh, ads make predictability. Well, they don't. Mm-hmm. The best thing you can hope for with ads is predictable leads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Now, in some cases, you might, over a long period of time, build and reiterate and test and tweak a funnel that leads to totally hands-off sales. But I think that's really, really rare, or it's very low ticket sales. You and I have it.
It's really rare. It's if it's high ticket, it's extremely rare unless you have brand equity. Right. And if you notice, a lot of people who say you can get your high ticket business on full autopilot without taking a sales call for your high ticket, it's unlikely unless you have a sales team. Which sales team, no matter what, that's a progression, because you've got to train your salespeople. You got to make sure that they have the clear systems and processes to close the deal. All of these particular things. But usually, for the most part, for high ticket sales, if you're not doing that and you're supposedly getting high ticket sales without a sales call, you're rolling on brand equity at that point. Like, your brand is enough. People are aware about you enough to where you can do that. But for the most part, it's not that. Or in your case, the other side is, if it is on autopilot, it's a low ticket product. It's e-commerce, or which is what we work with more. It's a subscription. Starting off your subscription, we have a progression, again, a system. Usually your first 90 days within your subscription should be tried, tested. You should do some, what I call validation before automation. Validate your offer. Can you get your first 100 subscribers, 50 to 100 subscribers without ad spend? Yeah. You go on and do that. That pays for your ad costs, which is what you're doing. You're doing it the right way, you're promoting it. You got your first front end. You start spending that money almost like stocks. You don't take that money, instantly pocket it. You throw it back into the market. You throw it back into the ads. And then from there, you do kind of like an ad to mini chat process, something that's a little bit somewhat manual and organic. Yeah. Validate it a little bit more. And then right around, what I would say is like, right around 90 to 120 days of someone launching ads, you have a warmed up enough pixel, you've gotten enough sales to where you can fully automate it. And if you've done like what I call like a 3 to 5 day digital seminar or challenge or whatever, automate that. And that's where it's more fun, where you see sales and you see the Stripe payments kind of coming in automatically and different things like that. And people are going through your, like, pretty much your free course or your free master class, and you're going through the trainings, and as long you have your systems and processes to sell them. And so that's kind of how, like, all that works. But
so let's poke some holes in common misconceptions here.
Let's do it.
Have you ever in your life seen an ad to something through a process to a sale that wasn't that didn't take a long time to perfect, that didn't take a ton of patience, that didn't take a ton of skill and intuition and the willingness to try and fail over and over and over again?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
No,
right.
No.
And this is
like I think everyone wants the magic pill.
Well, because everybody keeps telling us it's out there, bro. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody keeps like that.
It's absolutely not. The only time you see that, and no, actually, because with all of that, you have to have, like, even the 7-8 figure companies who are doing that, like the first time they try it, they do it well. They have a warmed up pixel. Their pixels, they have enough data in their pixel to where, so you got to realize, like, if you have no intuition, you haven't done this before, you have to actually give this time. There's no, like, I like to say, like, listen, pick your poison. You're going to work hard in either one. The reason why I like subscriptions is because you are scheduled to end your grind versus, like, in my opinion, the consulting space usually, and again, this is as someone who was an executive, like I was core leadership within a high level 7-figure business, growing and different things, help them build out their systems. Usually on average, statistically, it'll take you, you have around a 1 percentile to actually getting to a millionaire level 7 figures. In that, it's still going to take you around 3 to 5 years to actually do that.
Yeah.
You know, most people who have wife and kids or whatever, they don't want to 5 years, like, pretty much burning their relationship in order to get to 7 figures. They want a more sustainable growth approach. Memberships have a little bit more of, like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel kind of process, because you'll, like what you've been doing, 90 days organic ad, kind of process, different things like that. But that'll lead up and warm up into where, when it's automated within 6 months from now, you'll be able to more relax and not have to grind on that as much. So, but at the end, the idea that it's like you can sip on a pina colada from day one is an absolute misconception. You have to, in anything you do, you have to put in work. Like all my clients, literally, my agency clients, when they don't have a subscription, before we're doing any ads or funnels, we literally have them do 30 days of hardcore market research where they're doing like 20 interviews. And the reason why we do that is because we want that when we put a product to market, 100% of our clients have gotten results, and probably with it like a 3 to 5x ROI within the first 30 to 90 days. But that's because we like had them bust their A to actually get the data. Some people just like, oh, well, look, I interviewed 2 people and it didn't work. I'm like, you interviewed 2 people.
And one of them was like your granddad,
I'm like, how the hell? Like literally, it's like, that's like, oh, I went to the gym twice and I can't see my abs. My abs just doesn't work. Like it doesn't. I don't care who you are. Like at the end of the day, it's going to take time, patience, diligence, all of that in order to actually see the result. And the more people, I like to say, listen, the more you have a healthy expectation of like, I am absolutely okay with this journey, this process, and learning this process effectively. The more you'll likely learn it more quickly than someone who's super attached to like, in 15 days, I need to have this fully automated. No.
Bro. It's taken me as long as it has because that was my mindset. And it was my mindset because I bought the crap that everybody was saying. 100%, Hector. I'm so glad that these guys get to hear someone besides me harping on about this, because like I've started saying, like, one of my mantras inside the Wolf Pack is marketing is a journey. It's a journey. It is not. It's not a switch you flip. It's not a one shot, one kill. It's a journey.
100%. It's a process. It's a
process.
Look, we've even tracked to the point of how long it takes. I'm a little bit calculated. I'm a little bit like, I like math and everything like that. It takes probably around 60 to 90 days from on a skill acquisition standpoint for someone to develop a skill. So like, let's just say, for example, and people don't recognize this, is that even in hiring process, we've hired people, training processes. It takes it's a 90-day turnaround in order to get good at hiring. It'll take you sometimes like 3, 4, 5 months in order to get good at hiring. There's a skill acquisition frame. And again, this is from myself doing it within my own 2 companies. This has been me when I was working for another company for 2.5 years, having onboarded people, having coached probably 300 to 500 people, getting them to 6 figures, some of them even 7 figures. Like, there's a skill acquisition time. Like, for example, I'm very comfortable with talking. It took me time to develop the skill of communication. Like, if someone's like, you know, like when I'm coaching a client on like, maybe let's just say their VSL, and this is why we get good results with our clients, because we give them around we don't work with clients no less than 12 months. And the reason why, because we factor in the data points of skill acquisition. Because if I have to coach a client and they suck at video, like they don't know how to not stutter, they're super like thing, I'm pretty much anticipating it's going to take you around 60 to 90 days to acquire some form of effective speech skills in order to communicate, because that's going to actually impact your funnel too. There's different small dynamics and factors that people don't recognize. And it's so important, all the guru bullshit where people are like, oh, you're 1 funnel away. It's like, cool. And
from what?
It might take you a year to get that funnel actually solid and make really good money.
Yeah. No, this is good stuff, man. I was just talking with someone yesterday about the communication piece. And it just kind of dawned on me, I had a speech impediment as a kid.
Yep.
You know, I had to go to speech classes as a kid, and I had to train myself, for instance, one example, to lower my voice. Because I used to talk way up here, and I used to talk fast and high and like rapid fire, and it was shrill. And so like I have changed my speech impediment. I have changed literally the tone of my voice, because I know that deeper is more trustworthy and people like it more. I've gone through this whole process to be able to communicate like I do. And then I practiced. I mean, I've got literal years of videos on YouTube and Facebook. And you can go back to 4 years ago and you can see that I wasn't as good at coming off the cuff as I am now. I love that you said that. All of these things require.
And I think I know we didn't intend to go in this direction, but I think because we just connect on these things really well, is like, I just absolutely hate the exaggeration and the lack of transparency within the marketing guru space. It's like, from the front end, whenever I have a conversation with a client, I'm really upfront with them. I'm like, listen, are you comfortable with video? Are you comfortable with this? How much have you done this? How much have you done that? And I ask questions like that because I want to be able to authentically and in integrity say, hey, listen, this is going to take you about 6 to 12 months, like to really see a turnaround in this being like, because I've got to make sure your video communication's good. You're not really that comfortable with video. We're going to require you to be on video in order to really scale this. Like, we need videos from you. So there's so many, there's small little elements that, you know, for me, I think so many people are so jaded from the online marketing, not because online marketing doesn't work or funnels don't work. It's because of the lack of transparency and the hypersensitive, what is the word where you sensationalize the
hyper-sensationalize.
Just sensationalize and exaggerate and magnetize your language to be like, oh yeah, like you can easily like launch a funnel in 30 days. It's like, no, because you're whack at video, which is going to take you only have 2 testimonials.
Right. Yeah.
Which no one wants to talk about too. It's like if you actually just need to get good at your craft, you just need to get good at your craft.
Right.
Like
there's no shortcutting that.
You can't shortcut that. Like, I don't feel like there's no funnel that's going to save someone's level of skepticism and their sense of trust. Like, have you done this enough? And if they ask you that and they don't, you only have 2 testimonials, there's no level of copy that I can do to make that person being like, oh yeah. And it's like, things like that. It's like, I like the old school guys like Eugene Schwartz, Dan Kennedy. I like those guys because they're more real with it. Like Dan Kennedy talks about like, he was like, if I'm going to sell anything, like just give me a boatload of testimonials and I win. Because he knows, it's like, listen, at the end of the day, like call me old school, but I'm about the product. Like, is your product actually good? And do you have like boatloads of testimonials to show for the fact, do you have testimonials and enough social proof to show the fact that your product is worthy of someone literally just buying on autopilot? And if it is, then cool.
Right.
And if not, like recognize that you may have to do that. And a lot of these guys, like whose names I won't mention, initials start with R and end with B, you know, Russell Hunson.
Bustle Runson.
Bustle Runson.
Yeah.
It's the exaggeration. It's just like, no, you are one funnel away in the sense it's true, but there's a lot of skill inside of that.
Right. Yeah. That's like saying you're one PhD away.
It's like, oh, but you also don't realize you need an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's before you get to the PhD, and all of that requires skill. It's like, honestly, you're doing so well because, like, let's just get real. Like, you have testimonials. You came in out of the gate in your membership with social proof. Yeah. You came out of the gate having experience with speech. So if you needed, like, if your agency needed a video from you, you could pop one real quick, and it's like, it's super easy.
Yeah.
You develop those things. So it's like, okay, you're able to get a return on your ad spend fairly quickly versus like if you were someone who maybe you just started doing your coaching 6 months ago, maybe you had a modest amount of testimonies where we need to work with, but your skills in terms of selling, you weren't as established or strong there. Like that's a different ballpark. You're taking 6 months to really get a good funnel, like, or anything moving. And no one, honestly, no one wants to tell you that because it's not sellable. It's like, it's like, because everyone, we marketers know that humans have a strong gravitation towards ease and simplicity. So we know that. We know your brain is wired for ease and simplicity. Those are natural instincts within you that if we tell that to you on the front end, you're going to buy our products and everything. Yeah. It's the few guys like me and you that are just like, no, it's going to take you 6 to 12 months because you grow this, that, and it's going to take work for you to develop that. But you know what? I'd rather you pay me because I'm honest and you get a result than be jaded after a year of spending so much money that doesn't work because these people what can be done.
I just got off a call before this with you know Ben McClellan.
I feel like I've heard that name. Oh the ethics guy. He's like all about fulfillment systems. 100%.
Yeah, he's one of us, man, and it felt so good to have a conversation with him. Because there are those of us out there, right, who are like, I just watched Endgame again last night, and I'm like, fucking, it's just Thor, Cap, Iron Man against Thanos' army. That's kind of how it feels sometimes.
It's true, man. There's not that many people real with it, but let's circle to the sales because I know we need to go to that.
Yeah. I want to shout out Brendan real quick. He's saying some good stuff here. He's given us appreciation for the overview, the tutorial, the mindset stuff we're talking about. Brendan's also in the Wolf Pack.
Nice.
Thanks for all the chiming in, Brendan. Appreciate that, man. So as I was saying in the beginning, though, one of the things that has just like come full circle and smack me in the face is like, you can do all the other stuff, but if you get in your own way, putting an offer out there and then having the conversation that leads from the offer to the enrollment, you're dead in the water, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it just doesn't matter how good the rest of it is. You'll occasionally get a client here and there if you really nail your brand and your position. Totally. And then you get your core brand story so people can relate to you and all that stuff, and you get your content game to like an 11.
Yep.
Which, by the way, that alone, when somebody sees those of us who have a strong content game, I don't think they realize how much work that takes either.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And so if you get all those other things in place, yeah, you'll get a couple of sales here and there, and you will start to get people trickling in, reaching out to you. But even then, who you are from that point forward, you know, when you make contact with them, like, tell us about how we can get better at that. Cause it's everything.
You know, when it comes to a lot of the sales, because I think we're referring to sales process after okay, you generated the lead, they've engaged with
the lead, right?
Reaching out to you, but how it goes from there. So from it's funny because I have a funny, like, a great story on this, because recently a guy just reached out to me, and it's the same exact system and process. It's absolutely the same exact kind of, like, hey, like, you can tell he's reaching to find out what my goals are and what my challenges are and different things like that. So how we approach it is actually fairly different when it comes to, and this is, by the way, guys, what I'm about to share with you is going to help you with any type of offer you're trying to sell on the back end. So what Manny is referencing is part of the funnel that I know he's doing for sure, and I'm sure he's coaching you guys on as well, that I recommend as well, is like an ad to mini chat funnel. It combines a little bit of your automation systems, but organic as well. You got a conversation that's going on the back end, and how do you lead that conversation, that process, into an actual, like, close where they actually want to move forward. Just to kind of clarify, and just kind of before I go into that, a guy reached out to me and he was using the same exact stuff, and I was like, bro, you guys need to hire me to help you with this. I can read through all of your stuff. First and foremost, it's always really important to be conscientious of the nature, characteristics, and caliber of the audience you're speaking to. So say, for example, he reached out to a guy who, like, my business in 30 to 60 days was literally averaging 50 grand a month. Like, I don't have the story of, like, it took me a whole year to get to $3,000 a month. Like, I don't have that story. It's something that I understood marketing and sales, and I studied it for like 2-3 years in different things. And he had no idea who the heck he was connecting with. And so his conversation system made it seem like I'm like someone who's making like $2 grand a month. I'm like, bro, you have to be very conscientious, especially for any of you guys who, like, maybe your offers are for like 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurial folk or business folks. You have to realize the same templated systems are being used across rounds. So you have to figure out ways to be actually differentiated. And especially, and I know you can probably sniff it up too, Manny, because
right away. Yeah. Instantly.
You can instantly tell who's legit and who's just kind of prospecting for you. And sometimes I just go through the process to see what they're going to say.
See what their pitch is.
Yeah. Play with them and everything like that, just to see. And so it's very important to keep in mind who exactly is the market that you're connecting with, and what type of system are you going to employ. For me, here's how I operate. There's a great book called Influence. It's a classic book on
Cialdini.
Robert Cialdini. Great book.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I think what is it? The different laws of human nature, specifically as it relates to how we influence one another's behaviors and different things within social dynamics. And one of the biggest, I would say, laws that he referenced that was actually really important was reciprocity. Reciprocity. A lot of people, what ends up happening, like for us, all of our leads literally get something from us and all reach out to us. I actually don't really do cold outreach. Now, cold outreach works if you have a right and proper system, but I don't do it really that much at all, because we have a vehicle of which gets people really, really, really warmed up. Mm-hmm. We have a very specific method on how we do it. Mm-hmm. And so if for us, we have it to where before we do any pitch mode or anything, that they are getting solid content from us. And the reason why is because we know that they're going to buy something from our ecosystem if they actually go through that material. I'm not, you know, and so a lot of people, they end up actually, they end up putting the cart before the horse. They end up just going like, be like, oh, why do you, like, this is a very common script. Hey, Manny, like, super appreciate you for liking my post. What about it was it that you would same exact stuff. I'm
so
like,
tell me.
Holy God, like, dude, there's no originality to it. And then we're like, so what are your goals? But, you know, it's like there's no originality to it. So for us, what we end up doing is we end up, I say, leading with giving. Lead with something that you can give to that individual. So we start off with something that is more of it's extremely relational, it's extremely social, and it's very much conversational. And we start off giving to someone. We don't ask them about their goals. We don't ask them, like, literally, I have my guy, he'll go on and say like, hey, so and so, like, saw that you know, we've been connected for some time, and we haven't connected. Like, it's a very social approach. I don't ask for anything. If the person is not a good fit, then they're not a good fit. Like, one thing that I think people need to get out of their minds is not everyone in your audience, or not everyone is meant to be a good fit for your offer. And a lot of the times what they end up, they try to fit a square peg into a round hole.
100%, man.
So they end up like trying to sell everybody. They're like, what are your goals? And I'm like, you didn't build a relationship. You didn't ask about, you didn't ask what if they're even qualified or anything like that. It's
like, my goal is to chew my arm off to get out of this conversation.
I know, seriously. And I'm just like, no, you actually, you actually, number one, you should develop the relationship. Number two, you should lead with what we, again, a resource that to that person is going to be extremely valuable and helpful for them. Like, again, for you, like, you're in our subscription as well. And you were before you bought anything from us, like, you saw, I think, like, it was like 3 trainings from us, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And
you
spoke with you twice. Yeah,
you spoke with me twice, and it was like 3 trainings. So that builds the level of trust and connection to where it's like, oh, like, this guy knows subscriptions. Like, he's the guy that like, when it comes to getting support on the subscription side, like, we're gonna, like, he's the guy. That's how you need to operate. So reciprocity is a big one. Another thing too, honestly, I think people forget this is when it comes to social media, people forget that there's another law that Cialdini goes into that I don't think people talk about enough, is likability. They need to like you. Like, they have to, they need to like you in some form, shape, or way. And what people don't realize is contextualization impacts systemization. I'll say that again. You guys need to write that down. Contextualization impacts systemization. What does that specifically mean? Let me give you two visuals so that you kind of get a clear picture in your mind. If you're in a lawyer's meeting, you go to an office, a professional office, and you go to that professional office. Are you going to walk in that professional office straight up with skinny jeans, all of that stuff, kind of business meeting, be like, yo, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? Like, super excited for this business meeting. Yeah, like, whoa, bro. Like, you're going to look dumb. Like, especially if you're talking to like a 9-figure billionaire or like 10-figure, whatever. It's like, you're contextually having that type of conversation does not make sense. In another context, if you are at an actual party and you come up rocking a whole suit and tie with a suitcase, you also look dumb because people are looking at you like, bro, just get a beer and let's talk. Like, like, the context impacts the system. And so what people don't realize is that because social media is social, the best avenue to which you actually go and generate leads is social. is actually being social. Like it's funny because like we have clients that literally will say like they first connected with us off of like some of my random political stuff.
Yeah.
And they liked it. They were like, dude, I totally love what you have to say. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, but like his business stuff, I want a membership. Like, dude, let's. And it leads into that. It's the know, like, trust element. And people forget all about that. They forget the fact that people like, they want to like you. They want to like working with you. Obviously, you need to be a trusted advisor, but in a social media context,
talk about this all the time.
It has to, and again, you probably cover things like that. What are the likable traits of your brand? What are the likable traits? Like, what are those qualities? We have it within our I call it the Build Your Brand worksheet. And the Build Your Brand worksheet, there's 5 core brand archetypes. It's called the entertainer, the philosopher, the educator, the revolter, and the entertainer. And usually those 5 brand personality archetypes are usually what defines your brand. Are you like the rebellious revolter with a combination of like sarcastic entertainer? Yeah. Are you the educator, like plus like the entertainer? Like what element, what makes you that makes you unique, and what are the likable traits about your brand that actually does impact your sales process? Because your sales process on the back end is going to reflect that. Like for me, I'm kind of I am the revolter, motivator, entertainer type, meaning that most of my content is going to like throat punch you, will trigger you, will motivate the hell out of you, or will make you laugh. Yeah. It's pretty much one of the 3 things that's going to end up happening on that side. And so on the conversational side, like an add to mini chat system, or like organic to like conversation, like free giveaway, you know, maybe I'm giving away a free training, and then on the back end, I'm going to reflect those qualities. Like I like having fun. And so I'm going to say something entertaining. I'm going to say something fun. I'm going to crack a joke. And that is going to make me human to where this person feels like they can relate to me. I like to say business was just B2B or B2C before. Now it's H to H. It's human to human, and people want to feel like you are relatable and that they can actually connect with you. A lot of people, they look at them as just leads, but you have to realize like that is literally actually a human being on the other side. You have to, you totally forget about that. Yeah. And people they get so metrics focused, they forget you're dealing with another human who has preferences and traits, and they're a human person. And if they feel like they like you, that's going to create trust, and that's going to build the momentum with your offers on the sales conversation side. Yeah. And so,
Hey bro, let's give them like the condensed takeaways, the bullet points or whatever, because we got to wrap it up. Unfortunately, I would of course jam with you longer if I could.
100%. So I would say in terms of kind of bullet A to process step 1, step 2, step 3, and what I can end up doing, honestly, man, I can give kind of like a little template or script to you guys in terms of like how I do that, like how my own chat people do it, because at this point I have chat specialists who kind of manage this. But on the forefront is we have the steps. Step 1, your rapport building phase. Your rapport building phase is the social dynamic. You're not talking business. This is relatively, you want to take around 3 to 5 days in this. We've referenced this. If you take around a good 3, 5, 7 days, just a week on the rapport side, people feel more comfortable with you and they're more responsive to you. You don't get ghostings. You don't get any of that.
Yeah.
That's your rapport building phase. Your transition phase, step 2 is your transition. So this is where you're having you're recognizing that this individual, while there's a social connection that's there, they are wanting to transit, they're actually fit for your program or your membership or whatever. This is where you transition them into, there's more of a business professional conversation. This is where you'll give them a free resource, a freebie, you'll give them something. After that, that's where you get into your qualifications. People, they try to ask to go to bed way too soon. They get to the goals and all of that way too soon. What we do is we start off with the rapport, the social dynamic for about 5 to 7 days. And then after that, we go more so into like reciprocity. And then after that, we go into, okay, if this person has watched 45 minutes to 90 minutes of content from us and they're engaging with our stuff, chances are they want something from us. So we're going to ask them a couple of questions, goals, and that's where you can get into that section. That's going to be relatively around 7 days. After 7 to 10 days, I would say that's where that conversation's happening, because data had shown that you need around 7 to around upwards as high as around 20 touch points to actually get someone from cold to sold buying something high level. From. So that's why we reference relatively after around 7 days of really good rapport. Your chat specialists are really connecting with them, engaging with them, all of that. Usually at that point, they will then go be more reciprocous to you. They'll want to know about your business. They'll want to know what you do. They'll want to have a more professional conversation, so on and so forth. That's how we do it. That's how, honestly, like, we enroll consistently clients in our high ticket and our subscription because of that.
Love it. If you want to share that template, I think that would be amazing. Let's just share it into the Wolf Pack. Those of you guys that aren't in the Wolf Pack yet, for the love of God, why? Why aren't you? I mean,
you need to get it.
Yeah, $67 a month for everything you get. It's an IQ test offer. It really is.
You know, honestly, whoever says no, it's like, okay, you had a more of an IQ anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, this is honestly, it's like 67. The value that when you told me what you're providing in your subscription, I was like, wow, like, like people don't even get that within a high ticket program, let alone.
I know.
So guys, listen.
That's been the goal, is to give more at that level than the high ticket programs.
Bro, it's insane. So guys, if you're watching this, you just need to stop thinking about it. It's pretty much a steal. You just need to hop in, message Manny, because honestly, it makes sense. And again, I can attest as someone who I've been connected with Manny, I think for like about a year now, or almost a year. Like, he's not going to fail you on delivering. He has excellent content. He is absolutely committed to seeing your results. So $67 a month, like, come on. So
boom. Anyway, man, thank you, Hector. I like every time we get to talk, every time we get to jam, bro. It's always awesome.
It's super fun. And obviously, if you have any, dude, want to do this again, want to go do like a dope like workshop style, just let me know, brother.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah. All right. Thanks, you guys. Join the program. Come on. Thanks, Hector.
All right, brother.